Yeah. All right. So let's fast forward. I love the story about Ohio State and walking past the room and seeing some guys in there wrestling. What I didn't know, and I want to talk a little bit more about this. What I didn't know was it wasn't. It was a. What'd you call it? It wasn't the club. It wasn't the official club. It was what? Well,
Yeah, they were a sports organization.
okay.
So there's at Ohio State at least there's different levels to, especially sports clubs. So uh, there's probably there's over 1,000 student organizations, and that's what the wrestling club happened to be. And actually, about 4 or 5 years before I got there, they were an official sports club at Ohio State, and they fell out of compliance with um, the uh, the club executive board, and it kind of fell down to just as a student organization. And that's when I joined, and uh, I believe that part of my legacy at Ohio State, like throw the four-time All-American and everything out the window, was leaving that club the year that I left. They became an official club again, which is one of my. I'm extremely proud of that because now their exposure is much larger and they got a bigger budget. It's gaining a lot of traction with a lot of people on campus, like guys who um, kind of ended up just like me, like coming to Ohio State without knowing that it was even there. So, but yeah, they're an official sports club now. So
Okay. So explain to us what that means. And everybody knows the Ohio State University. Everybody knows how good the Ohio State University varsity wrestling program is. And you mentioned governing boards and all this. So what's the hierarchy? And I believe that in the past that there have been wrestlers that have leapt from the club to the varsity level. Am I right there?
yeah, you're right. And one of them was almost me. I yeah, there's been guys and vice versa actually. We've had guys jump from the club to the varsity. Our Coach Rourke, he's in contact with Coach Ryan. Um, Tom's a great guy. I love Tom Ryan. Everyone loves him. And there's been guys that have jumped from the club to the varsity and have done really well. Um, and there's different factors as to why they're not on the varsity initially, but there's been guys that have jumped from the club to the varsity team, and then vice versa. There's been guys that maybe the commitment of the varsity was too much, too heavy, and maybe the outlook wasn't so great for them. Maybe there's studs. You got Kyle Snyder, Colin Moore, Nathan Tomasello. Like maybe there's guys in front of them that are just going to be there because they're that good. There's guys that have fallen from, coming from, I don't even want to say falling, like, because, that's, these guys want to choose a route that's better for them. And so guys will come from the varsity and they'll come to the club and they succeed. And there's actually one that comes to mind right now is Parker Watson. He's actually competing. He just competed today. I think he's at 174 for our club team, but he was on the varsity for a year and he came to the club and he's doing really well. Like he's school matters a lot to him, and not that school doesn't matter to all his varsity guys, but based on his class load and stuff and what he wanted to be doing and his position on the varsity, he wanted to be more competitive and have other goals. Like our club has a national tournament versus if you're starting on varsity, you could go to the NCAA's. But he wanted to compete more. He wanted to compete and not just be in the practice room. He wanted to be competing out on a big stage, and our club was the way to do that for him. And he's doing really well right now. So hoping he can end up getting on the podium this year too.